Hey Mark and everyone else over at the Sasha Group, my name is Chris Walter. I want to take a few minutes here to introduce myself via this video and give you a portfolio piece of some work I did with YouTuber Cody Wanner back in 2018. The reason I want to do that is I think it does a nice job of showing a very succinct timeline of some work I did to help him grow his channel. He was already off and running to do great things, but I also believe that I really helped accelerate that growth, and I want to show you that a little bit here and point out the ways that I think it would really translate into the work you do at the Sasha Group. So I came across Cody in March of 2018. He started January 1st of 2018 to do a daily vlog. He decided he'd been thinking about it long enough. He was finally just going to do it. He committed to an entire year. And about the time I came across him, he was around 400 subs. I watched a few of his vlogs, and very quickly it became very apparent to me that this is not what I was expecting to be coming out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It was like the honest, truthful first thought was this is like almost on a Casey Neistat level between the filmmaking and the editing and the storytelling and matching things up to the music and interesting stuff every day. And I just wanted to learn more and get to know him and kind of get into his circle. So I watched his videos, and whenever there was a vlog that I had something that I thought I could contribute to in the comment section, I did. And I tried to make it meaningful, tried to make it something that either he would connect with or the audience would see the video in a little bit of a different light or start a conversation. And that eventually led to coffee, which led to another coffee and coffee, and then a very interesting text followed by a more interesting phone call because Cody had our very first project we could work on, and I'll let him tell the story.
A couple weeks ago, I went down this rabbit trail about creators and how there's no such thing as a small one. If you are a creator, if you're a small creator, I want to make sure you have this right in your head. You are not a small creator. You're a big creator. You're a mega creator. It's just you don't have a mega following yet. I think today's the day I'm putting this plan into motion, and then like once something gets into your head, it's really hard to get it out of there. Am I right? It came from a comment that I got on that boosted board video.
The reason I got the phone call, aside from the fact that we had been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks about how we could work together on a project, is that in a previous life when I was a teacher, I also ran a screen printing business as a side hustle. So Cody knew I can make shirts. The one issue that we ran into on that day is the power in Harrisburg just went out. Like the grid, like the actual grid went dark. Where I used to print t-shirts, I swung by there, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't make a screen, make a transparency, couldn't cure the ink, so it was not going to work. Cody had a DIY box of screen printing, t-shirt making stuff. I ran off to grab the ink that he needed. We met back up and I just talked him through how he was going to make his shirt at home. We did really two things that day. One, made a really sweet shirt, and two, Cody launched his platform, #NoSmallCreator, which comes off of the idea that there is no such thing as a small creator, and was really the genius behind the design of the shirt as well.
The design's not front and center on the shirt, it's right here. It's on the inside because you as a creator are on the inside.
This idea of no small creator just took off. People loved the idea of the shirt. We needed to sell them, and again, that's where I hopped in. I was ordering inventory, printing the shirts, set up a Shopify site. I did shipping, any return, payment processing, all of that good stuff. What I think the most impactful thing we did was put a personalized note on all of the packing slips that went out. My thought process was, look, we're all about this no small creator idea. How better to make them feel noticed and welcomed than an actual handwritten note? I had a little go-to that was name, stay awesome and keep creating. Cody had a catchphrase at that point, so we threw it in there. Let's do this thing, #NoSmallCreator. I gotta say, the people loved it. Crisscrossing the production and sales and growth of the whole No Small Creator community, Cody had a particularly influential day in May when he did a cross-country collab with Audrey Ember. So the way this worked...
Guess what? I'm doing a sweet collab with Audrey Ember today.
I'm actually going to be collabing with the YouTuber you guys might know. His name is Cody Wanner.
I wanted to do like a parallel vlog, like her life, my life, like flying back and forth. How's it different? How's it the same? We're creators, let's do it, yes!
So the day's going great. They're doing their whole individual vlog thing. And then it got extra interesting because...
Well, I was walking back from my class and Cody texted me and is like, you need to check out Peter's new video because he just released a B-roll challenge.
So this is the challenge. You find somewhere in the world, be it that it's the intersection right below where you live, or maybe it's the park by your house, maybe it's your kitchen, somewhere slightly uninteresting, and you challenge yourself to one camera and one lens, and you have to make a 30-second B-roll sequence in that spot.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I dropped everything.
Come on! So I'm just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it all.
To make it even more artistic and interesting, they decided, since they were already doing a collab vlog that day, they were going to do collab B-roll challenge as well. So they both went out, they both shot their own B-roll, swapped video, they cut it up so it was a little bit of Audrey, a little bit of Cody, and both of them, 2 entries to the same challenge, and one of them got noticed.
All right, here's what happened. Peter DM'd Audrey and was like, hey, could I have the high res of that video so that I could use it? I'm gonna do a reaction video. And she told me about it. We're like, but it's probably not gonna happen. He probably won't use our stuff. And then he did.
All right, so next up we have a collaboration B-roll challenge from Audrey and Cody. Kind of excited for this, to be honest.
Audrey, that just happened!
After Cody and Audrey got done flipping out about the insanity that is being showed on Peter McKinnon's channel at a time when he already had 2 million subs, Cody had a very logical next question of, how do I capitalize on this? Gave me a call. And my first thought was, well, how do we make this not about you? Because you don't want it to seem grabby or greedy because you're already on the channel. People already got to see your stuff. So what can we do that is interesting that people are actually going to care to learn about? The idea was, well, who are the other contestants? Who are the other winners that were shown on the channel? What do they do? What do we know about them? Yeah, I pitched the idea to Cody. Let's figure out who these other people are.
We got all these no small creators. They're in Peter McKinnon's video. He hasn't yet put any of their links in his description. So we got to get a video out there so that when people are searching for who are the people who Peter used in his reaction video, then we'll get them. Update, I'm gonna try to Skype with as many of them as possible. That's gonna be a cool vid. It's gonna be a cool vid.
At that point, we split up the work.
My buddy Chris Walter, he's helping me. He's gathering links and lists of all of the people who Peter reacted to.
By 10:30 that night, he had already reached out to everyone. 3 of them he had a voice call with.
Yeah, can you see me now? Good, I'm good. Hey, how you doing?
3 of them he had the message from. From an afternoon to the next morning, came up with the idea, executed on it, video released. The most interesting part of the entire thing is the reaction from one particular viewer. I want to say this next part very clearly. This video, this idea, and the execution of it was a part, not the reason, but a part of a series of events that led to...
Hey Peter.
What's up? The first video I ever saw from you was complaining about how long my videos were. You're like, I don't have 15 minutes, man. I got a life to live, right?
Okay.
On the radar. Then I did the B-roll challenge. Audrey, I saw her on Twitter, DM'd her. I didn't even realize it was a collab. And I was like, okay, it's a collab with this guy, Cody. And I didn't realize that was you from the video that I'd already seen like a couple weeks back until you put out the video about the fact that you were on my channel for the B-roll challenge. And I was like, wait a minute. That's the guy that was saying my videos were too long that I just put on the channel for the, like, that's so funny. And then I watched that video that you did on like how to capitalize where you contacted everyone. I thought that was really clever. The one that really got me was the, you could be my babysitter. Like the cinematic swaddle. The second I saw the cinematic swaddle and when you said, my kids made it, she made it, I just really liked your personality there. I showed my wife and I was like, I knew it. This guy needs to come to Toronto, we need to make a video. And I have a special guest on today's video that I am so excited to introduce to you guys. And the content that he makes inspires me daily on so many levels.
So Cody went up, they spent a couple days in Toronto with Peter, did some unicorn float jet skiing, some super interesting stuff they did.
What's up, you wonderful people? It's Cody Wanner. If you came here from Peter, thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad you're here. This is awesome.
At the same time, there were some very real and very deep relationships being built between Cody and creators across the US. and there's a bunch of people on the West Coast that he just really wanted to collab with, but the problem was we're over here on the East Coast, they're on the West Coast. Money was becoming a bit of a thing.
Hey man, so I want to raise money for this West Coast trip because we don't have enough money.
So we did it. Helped him set up the GoFundMe page, the whole campaign, the initial goal with the stretches, did research on flight costs and car rentals and all that good stuff. So we knew how much he was going to need to raise. I'm not sure the GoFundMe was even open an entire day before it was fully funded, and he was on his way to the West Coast.
I need to thank I think 50 of you. I think there's 50 of you no small creators who sent me on this trip that I'm going on right now. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Here we go. Going to Seattle, baby. West Coast. Come on.
In the end, I believe it covered 8 days. His trip went from Washington all the way down to LA and connected with, I believe, 14 different creators, some YouTubers, some podcasters.
Cody, it begins from hit on me. If you ever got me and I'll then thing under the Paris.
34 videos posted to YouTube between Cody's channel and all the people he connected with, and 2 very well attended meetups, one in Washington State.
You're right. Yeah, get right now. Walking. So immediately.
A second in LA.
We're doing collabs, everybody. Yeah.
Pretty soon after Cody got back from his West Coast trip, he reached out with another question. He was in conversation to be a part of a pretty big video conference around YouTube. What he particularly wanted to do, come up with a way to pitch getting tickets to send some of the No Small Creator community to the conference. My idea was, well, let's leverage this thing you've been doing recently. There's an Audrey Ember collab, which led to all types of interesting things. He just did the West Coast trip. There was a ton of videos, a ton of talk, lots of questions within the community on, well, how do I do this? How do you do this? How do you find people to work with? So my idea was, hey, let's take all this momentum and turn it into a contest. And they liked the idea.
So I'm gonna let them know about what we're releasing in just a second, about what it's gonna look like in terms of them. Vid Summit, you can come. Daryl is announcing a competition. What you have to do is you have to collab with another channel. You have to pitch to us why you're coming to Vid Summit. Like, why are you gonna get there? Daryl's gonna give away tickets to his favorite ones.
I think in a moment of honesty, the contest turned out even better than Daryl had hoped.
I think there's like 168 different videos that was put out there. Took a lot of time for Cody and me to go through it. And I went and called Cody. I'm like, hey, Cody, I definitely need help on this. He's like, no, some of them are my friends. Good luck. I'm like, ah.
Daryl ended up picking out 6 video submissions as the finalist, showed them on his channel. 25 minutes, I think it was, for the total competition contest finalists extravaganza. And at the end of it, he decided to bring all 6 finalists, which means 12 creators, to Vid Summit. All in all, I think a great opportunity for everybody. Cody was able to help his community. The community was able to grow closer because they were doing videos together. 12 of them got to go to Vid Summit who might not have been able to go otherwise. And Daryl got a lot of great exposure for his channel. Obviously, there's a good number of people who already knew who he was, but not everyone did. Shortly after presenting at Vid Summit, Cody also presented at Power of Video in Ireland, which was an unbelievable experience, and there were some big name YouTubers there, and he made some awesome connections, some great relationships that he still has. I believe he got hooked up with Space Station, and they were able to take on the agency role for him, and that's really where our story of collabing and working together to grow his channel comes to an end. How does this relate to the Sasha Group? Because I realize we're not talking about influencers and YouTubers. It's not a one-to-one correlation. But what I learned from working with Cody, as well as what I've done for the past 2.5 years running my own one-person solo digital marketing shop, definitely translates. There is an audience they're looking to connect with. There is something that audience wants. There is a way to connect authentically. There's a way to connect authentically with them, and that's going to help the business grow. I have been running my own digital agency for 2.5 years now. I'm tired of doing it on my own. I want to be a part of a team. I want to make a difference. And I know the Sasha Group is making a difference, and I believe that the skills that I have and the experience that I have lines up with what you are doing. Thank you for your time. It means the world to me, and hoping that we can figure out a way that I can work with you.